Hi everyone, Ed Robertson, hoping you're enjoying the holiday weekend. We are taking a few days off ourselves and we'll be back with a brand new edition of TV Confidential next week. In the meantime, we thought we'd bring you what we'll call a blast from the past, an excerpt from one of our conversations that you may have heard before, but probably haven't heard in a long time. We hope you'll enjoy.
Hi, this is James McEachin. You're listening to TV Confidential.
All right, since we're in a festive mood here, Dragnet.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, first of all...
Did Dragnet do a Christmas episode?
Actually, they did two around the same time, a Dragnet Christmas episode. There was actually one that aired the year prior, because Dragnet was already on. And it's amazing. You look at this. And this, by the way, the episode was turned on to me by Joseph Doherty, who... from now.
Who's in a Dragnet frame of mind?
He is loving noir, and hopefully we'll get to talk about noir because
we're
noir
we're working on that. Hopefully after the first of the year, but he's in a Dragnet frame of mind when he's not busy producing Ravenswood
and Pretty Little Liars, and I'm sure it's safe to say now that there will be a Pretty Little Liars in February that will be greatly influenced by Joe's love of noir, because apparently millennials love it too, and so he's been very much on that. So anyway, there was an episode December 18th, 1952, called Big 22 Rifle for Christmas. Friday and Smith are searching for a missing boy. The first sign that the case is serious is when blood is found. Further probing reveals that the boy's parents had purchased him a .22 caliber rifle for Christmas, and the boy found it a little ahead of time and went out and tested it out. And without going into too much detail as to how the story plays out, I will warn you, not a happy ending. But it does have the moral at the end where Joe pretty much says you don't give a rifle to a kid for Christmas. And because Jack Webb and Joe Friday have always been seen as very, conservative icons, especially the anti-drug Joe of the 60s. But it really has a powerful message that a gun, a real gun, we're not talking about a cap gun. Right. We're talking about a real gun is not an appropriate toy for a child, let alone a child in the city of Los Angeles. And so it ends very heavy, but you have this important message in a Christmas episode. Mm-hmm. We're so used to all these classic episodes of the time period where the characters break the fourth wall and wish everyone a Merry Christmas.
Would this have been totally out of character for an episode in 1952, especially of a popular show?
For this show, probably not out of character for Dragnet, because they were going off the files, and Jack Webb was very much a stickler for, however it played out in the files. This is how we want it.
That's the story we're going to tell, right?
That's the story we're going to tell. And you had one episode with the little boy taking the baby Jesus for a ride in his little red wagon and having to follow up on the case. But that story did have let's say, a more positive ending, and there was a moral or morality component at the end of it. But to
answer your question, I would imagine on the whole this is probably unusual for early television.
Yeah, for early television, because like I said, here's a Christmas episode that is very heavy. Yeah. And it's not, usually I think the Christmas episodes that would be heavy, there'd be some sort of gift of the Magi theme to it, or even if somebody winds up empty-handed on Christmas, they have something that fulfills their heart that money can't buy. Or, it would always be...
It would have a traditional Hollywood ending.
Yes. It would have, basically It's a Wonderful Life. The richest man in town, which, of course, that always happens when the bank's ready to foreclose. Yeah. But it's a very, very powerful episode, and you look at it and it's like just as relevant today.
Probably even more so because it's in black and white.
Yeah. And it's just
going back to the noir element.
Going back to the noir element, but it just seems like I saw this last year, and this time last year, guns were definitely on everybody's mind.
Exactly. Yes.
Exactly.
With Newton. Right.
With exactly Newton and Wayne LaPierre and people saying no. People were still arguing over the fact that yes, responsible gun ownership, and we teach the kids how to use the gun properly. It's like no. This has been a dialogue that has been going on for now 60 years, and the fact that you do have this icon of Joe Friday, that big fan of the LAPD, big fan of law enforcement, all that. But I think people sometimes forget when they want to kind of repurpose an icon like Joe. To know Jack Webb showed a great deal of reverence for the LAPD, but I think he wanted to get a certain message out, that there are certain universal truths and certain senses of right and wrong, and just children playing with guns. And even if they manufacture it to be slightly smaller for them to handle, it's still a bad idea.
Yeah, it's a message that holds true today.
Yeah, but when you have something that, like I said, when you look, most of us know Joe as color, anti-drug Joe. That many of those episodes in the 60s
the
were,
Joe that has been has been sent up, unfortunately, the last 25 years.
Yeah. And by the way, I love Dan Aykroyd's Joe. So full disclosure there. But when you look at some of the stuff, I think it has the same effect to the viewers the way that Reefer Madness had on its desired audience. That when they do try to produce something to say, "Hey, drugs are not cool," says the guy in the crew cut.
Right.
It really, it does, it really, well, we should organize the kids to have a campaign. But it just doesn't work.
But something like this, because it's sober.
When you're using the medium and
using the medium and using a child.
Yeah.
Yeah. It really does hit home. If you look at, a crime drama now, if you have a kid in the mix, it takes on a very different weight.
Exactly.
The difference, between, solving the case of a murdered child versus a beautiful young co-ed. It does take on a much heavier weight to it and a much stronger impact. And, I'm like to see that, a lot of these shows carry on a certain legacy that Jack Webb was trying to bring across there. But, all of these episodes I mentioned, I have found on YouTube, at least at the time that we're recording this.
One more item. If you're starting a company, particularly one that is in an emerging market, you know that averting any sort of legal dispute is crucial to your business plan. Our friends at Tectonic Law offer an array of services that can help you avoid and preempt future litigation while also developing and protecting your intellectual property and intangible assets. Tectonic Law serves the needs of a host of emerging industries throughout California and beyond, including industrial designers, beverage makers, artists, farmers, retail stores, health practitioners, wellness experts, cosmetics manufacturers, nonprofit organizations, innovators in sustainable practices, and libraries. Go to tectoniclaw.com to learn more about how Tectonic Law can help your business thrive. tectoniclaw.com. Rock solid representation for groundbreaking industries.
This portion of TV Confidential is brought to us by our friends at Front Porch Realty, the community of realtors in the Northern Bay area of California that is committed to finding the solution that is best for their clients. Whether you're a first-time home buyer or looking to sell or lease your property in Northern California, call Karen Strain at 415-886-7411 or visit frontporchrealtygroup.com for more information on how they can help you.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for listening to the TV Confidential podcast. If you like what you hear, please consider subscribing to the TV Confidential podcast, or better yet, give us a review on Apple Podcasts, Podchaser, or wherever you listen to our podcast.